Hey girl, hey. This is your girl Talisha back at it again. How are you guys doing today? How is your lovely Sunday? How is um your energy? How are you feeling? How are you becoming? How is everything moving with you today? I hope everything is moving beautiful. I hope you are becoming the best version of yourself that you can be. I hope your energy is magnetic and high, embracing your feminine energy and staying in tune to it. Today, y'all, this is Feminine Energy 101, and feminine energy comes from this dot dot dot. What is this? What is it that we're talking about, and where does the feminine energy come from? What makes it so mysterious? Well, we are about to dive into it, but before we do that, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to your girl channel, and also hit the post notification bell so that you can be notified every time there is an episode that has been dropped. Now, make sure also that you listen all the way through so that you guys can pick up these affirmations and these gems that we are dropping throughout this episode. And also take a look at the previous episodes that we have dropped for you guys as well. So moving forward, moving it right along, diving into the topic one feminine energy 101. Feminine energy comes from this. Well, you guys, feminine energy does not come from how you look, who chooses you, or how soft your voice is. Feminine energy comes from inner safety, self trust, and receptivity. Yes, you can be talking as sweet and calm as you want to. Doesn't mean you're in your feminine energy. You can be looking like you are heaven sent. Doesn't mean you're in your feminine energy. Every man will want to choose you, but it does not mean you're in your feminine energy. Feminine energy is a place of safety. It makes you trust yourself, and you are receptive to the things that are around you and the things that you are receiving inside and on the out to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Okay. So don't let people fool you thinking that you have to dress a certain way to be in your feminine energy. No, that does give you the confidence that is inside of feminine energy, but it does not make up feminine energy. That is not where it comes from. Feminine energy comes from inner safety. So when a woman feels safe within herself, she naturally softens. She doesn't rush, she doesn't chase, or she does not force. So this is one thing that a lot of us women, I believe, especially us mothers, that we find ourselves doing, rushing. We find ourselves rushing, and we find ourselves chasing time, and we find ourselves trying to force situations that sometimes maybe does not need to be forced. So the key talking points that I want to point out today is learning how to calm your nervous system. We talk about this all the time, but in order for you to feel safe on the inside, you have to calm your nervous system. That is a key point. And for me, it's simply breathing in and breathing out, pausing before you react, what we talked about in our last episode on how to avoid those triggers, how to stay in your feminine energy when those triggers approach. Learning how to calm your nervous system, self-soothing, and emotional security. These are the three key points that targets back to feminine energy comes from inner safety, calming your nervous system, self-soothing, soothing, and emotional security. Emotional security is that thing that blocks out the negative memories that show up inside of your mental. So earlier today, like I told you, this is a journey not just for me to share with you guys, but for that I am going through as well. So one of my thoughts appeared inside of my head to where I felt like I was being judged based on how the way I was looking. and I was looking very much so feminine, but it also gave off bougie, but who cares, you know? And so, you guys, those are my kids in the background if you can hear them. And so, um, okay, back at it. I had to tell me, be quiet, calm down. Okay, so you're self-soothing, learning how to breathe and learning how to calm yourself down when you feel like yourself is about to have one of those outbursts. So as I was talking about earlier on how, that memory came up inside of my mind to where I felt like I was being judged in my previous experience of learning how to control my anger, and also being in a space to where I'm walking in feminine energy and learning my inner safety on how I can be able to calm my nervous system. I was in a place to where I felt like I was being judged based on my appearance of how the way that I was presenting myself, and it caused me to have to go into a space of identifying that emotion. So what I was feeling in that moment is judgment. Those memories was popping up. Judgment was trying to wrap itself around my mind. This happened just like around 10 to 15 minutes ago. And so judgment was trying to wrap itself around my mind, but I had to self-soothe myself. I had to breathe in and breathe out and reaffirm that, hey, judgment is not placed on me by man. And then I also had to recognize that judgment with my emotional security and block it out of my mind. And this allowed my nervous system to stay calm throughout that whole process. It allowed my nervous system to understand that we are not about to get wrapped around in that negativity and cause ourselves to backtrack from this journey that we are on. And so moving forward, I just want to let you guys know that you have to first find your inner safety if you want to fully walk in your feminine energy. This is an affirmation that I want to leave with you guys. It says, I am safe within myself. This is for when you are finding your inner safety. I am safe within myself. I know a lot of us women find it sometimes hard to trust or to feel safe in any type of environment. We can walk inside of the grocery store, sometimes we're still on high alert. We can walk inside of a public theater and we're still on high alert. We can go to the park and we're still on high alert. We can go places and we feel like we are already targets because we are women. We feel like we have to put ourselves in this masculine energy mode to where we are protecting ourselves if you do not have that significant other for you to feel safe in those environments. But when we are alone and we are by ourselves and we know how this world is, and we know how sometimes women and men can be in certain situations, we sometimes step into our masculine energy for us to be able to protect ourselves and be on high alert. Now, this doesn't mean don't be on your P's and Q's and watch out from what it is that you have going on. It simply means that you are trusting yourself to know that you are safe in an environment that may feel unsafe, because you trust yourself to know that you are still going to make it back home. You trust yourself to know that you're not going to allow someone to bother you and fall into traps, because you are not weak and that you are not looking for validation or looking to prove anything to anyone. You are sure within yourself. You stand firm in who you are, and you are walking in your feminine power, and you do not need anyone or anything to protect you from anyone, because you feel as if like you are trustworthy within yourself to protect yourself from any harm and from yourself as well, because sometimes we can be our biggest threat. It don't even have to be stepping outside and going to stores or going to parks or going to go have fun at the club with our girls, or going on dates. It can simply mean that we can be a target to ourselves. We can be putting ourselves in harm's way because we're overthinking. We're rushing into things without having that discernment. we're chasing things that we don't need to be chasing instead of allowing those things to come to us. And we're doing it by force when it's supposed to be coming to us instead of us trying to grab and trying to snatch. And so within these moments, sometimes we can be our biggest enemy. But if you learn your inner safety, if you learn how to trust yourself, be emotionally secured, self-soothing, and calming your nervous system, you're going to know that when you walk into this room, you're supposed to be there. You're going to know that what you're receiving, you're supposed to receive. You're not going to second guess it. You're not going to question it, because you know that this is what it is that you wanted and you received it the way that you were supposed to have it, by just simply trusting the woman in who you are, having that discernment and being aligned to fully receive and fully accept something that is not going to harm you but guide you in the right direction of happiness. So I hope you guys took that in, and because I know I was trying to wrap everything around around those 3 target points, but I hope you guys took that part in. The second thing is feminine energy comes from self-trust. This ties back into inner safety. Feminine energy comes from self-trust. Feminine energy knows when you trust your intuition instead of overthinking or outsourcing your power. This comes from when you are looking for validation for someone else. Your intuition knows that you don't trust the fact of what it is that you're doing and you're looking for validation somewhere else. I just did all of this for you, so why are you looking for it in somewhere else? I just told you that everything is good, so why are you overthinking this same subject? I just informed you that you don't have to go outsourcing anything because the source lies within you. So why are you looking for something outside of yourself? The 3 target points from your self-trust comes from listening inward, moving with instinct, and honoring your inner voice. Honoring your inner voice is one thing that I am learning day by day, because my life in my childhood was not pretty, and it was not friendly, and it wasn't something that I have been just, I guess, willingly to share up until now. But in these moments of my adulthood and me looking back and reflecting and taking in those reflective moments, I am learning that my childhood was not always pretty, but I am having a pretty outcome. And so with these moments of me honoring my inner voice, I have to trust it, and I also have to move with instinct. Now, moving with instinct is something that I have been moving pretty well in. Listening inward and honoring your inner voice is hard to do, because you have to first learn your inner safety. Because if you don't feel safe within yourself, how can you trust yourself? So you have to feel safe within yourself in order to trust yourself. And if you don't feel safe by those inner voices, if you don't feel safe by listening inward, then it is going to be hard for you to remain in safety within yourself, because you're going against yourself. You're going against the very thing that keeps you safe, and also it keeps you grounded, and also keeps you going, but you do not feel safe enough to trust it. So being in those moments to where you can fully be in a space to where you can breathe, self-soothe, and honor your inner voice and allow yourself to know that I am safe within myself, then you can be able to move forward to pulling back those layers of trust. Because if you have had people in your family members, or your mom and your dad, I know that in childhood, you first look to your parents as safety. You look to your parents as trust. And so when certain things as trust and your safety gets broken by the very ones that you thought were going to protect you and keep you safe, and that you can trust them, it's going to be hard for you to trust anybody, especially yourself, because you were in a space to where you fully relied on that trust with your parents, and that is your first I guess I want to say trust obstacle is your parents. And if you can't trust your parents, then it makes you feel like, well, who can I trust? Well, you can trust yourself, because if you trust enough that you're not going to want to be hurt like that again, or you don't want to move in a space to where you allow yourself to be hurt and abused and mistreated in a way by any other person, then I need to first find something deep down within myself that I know that I can trust. Learning yourself on what it is that you're willing to accept and willing not to accept. Because if you're just out here rushing and moving, then you're going to fall into the hands of anybody, and anyone is going to be able to hurt you. So moving forward, this is an affirmation that I also want to leave with you guys. I trust myself deeply. As I said, trusting yourself deeply, finding something deep within yourself that you can be able to trust, which would be your intuition, loving yourself, and being able to be in alignment with yourself. And it's hard work. It's hard work. I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy peasy, like lemon squeezy. No, it is hard work. Trust me, because for me, trust was and still is a big thing. And learning it day by day is an obstacle, but learning to trust myself day by day is also a journey that I am stepping into, and learning, and me sharing these things with you guys is a beautiful thing. Number 3, feminine energy comes from receptivity, not effort. Like I told you, you don't have to put too much effort into being feminine. You know, it's because we don't like to break a nail. So why would we be doing anything too hard? No, love. So letting you know that you don't perform feminism, you allow it. Feminism is not a performance, it's not a show, it's not an act, it's not a movie, it's not a script, it's not an outfit, it's nothing in that nature. It's simply you just being in a space to where you allow everything to work for you. And in order for you to allow everything to work with you and for you, you're going to first have to pull back those layers and heal. You're going to have to step into a space to where you can heal all of those traumas, so that you can be in a space to where you trust yourself enough to be able to be in safety and to be able to receive. Because if you are not in inner safety, if you are not trusting, you cannot receive your feminine energy, because you have to start from the ground up. You have to start from your inner core. You have to start from the foundation. Three points that I want to make is allowing support. Sometimes we don't have support, but if we do get a little bit of support, go ahead and allow it. I was just at the not the grocery store, but the gas station, and I had my daughter with me, and we were getting like some snacks and some things. I was getting some snacks and things for her, and also for my other children. And I think I was like $5 short, because I only brought $18 with me, and so I was like $5 to $7 short for all of the candy and stuff that was for the kids. And so in the midst of me ringing all of everything up, and he's like 70, and I think that was 27.78. I think that was the total. And I was like, well, no, just take it off, and then I'll be able to pay for the rest. And then the guy behind me was like, no, let her get her candy, it's fine, I'll give it to her. And I was like, no, because I'm $7 over, that's a lot. And then he was like, no, let me allow me to help you with this. And I was like, okay. And so he gave me a $20 bill to put with the extra change that I had, and I ended up giving him back the change, and so forth and so forth. And so in that moment, I denied the support first, but then the support did not allow me to deny it. I was receiving what it is that I needed in that moment by just simply showing up and being in a space where I'm able to receive. And This is, I know it's just like, well, honey, it comes more for just like, candies at a store. I understand that. A lot of us mothers have a lot on our plate that needs to be clean. A lot of us are struggling to be able to support our kids financially. A lot of us are struggling to be able to put food on the table and to be able to put clothes on our backs, or even to be able to have a babysitter when we need a babysitter. But allowing support in the midst of when you need it is a beautiful thing, instead of trying to always deny it because you're not used to it. I'm not used to support. So for me, the first thing for me to do is to deny it. But denying did not allow me, denying did not receive the deny. It kept the support. Y'all, the support did not receive the denying. It dismissed the denying and still supported, because I was still allowing the support by understanding that he just wanted to simply help. Receiving without guilt. Me receiving that extra support without guilt. I did not feel an ounce bit of guilt. I normally would feel guilty when someone was to give me something, or if someone was to try to support me in a way. I would feel guilty because I felt like I am a mother. I should be able to do all of these things on my own. But that was the masculine energy in me that was speaking from a place of proving instead of just receiving as mothers should. Letting life meet you. I was in the right place at the right time. I allowed my time to align with an individual that was going to be placed in a certain time frame at a certain place at the time that I was going to be there, so I can be able to receive. Trusting your intuition, knowing when to move and knowing when not to move, knowing when to go somewhere and knowing what place to stay away from. Trusting your intuition. I tell myself all the time, thank you for allowing me to be in the right place at the right time and never in the wrong place at the wrong time, because this allows me to be in spaces fully when I know I can be safe. Trusting my inner safety, trusting my inner self, not giving too much effort, but just being receptive. These are the things that represent feminine energy, because we're not forcing anything, we're not rushing into anything, we're not chasing anything, we are simply receiving. Number 4, feminine energy comes from presence. Do you understand me? Like I told you, baby, just simply showing up. Feminine energy lives in the now, not in anxiety about what's next. I used to suffer from anxiety really, really bad. I used to be so anxious all the time. I used to have flares. I used to have all of that. I went to a crisis center because I had anxiety really, really bad. Just from overthinking, just from being in spaces where I was always thinking about, okay, what's next, all because of what I experienced as a child. Always being in spaces to where I felt like I was going to have to either cover up for something or either have to plan my next move in something. My environments where I grew up in the projects where you hear gunshots and police sirens and all of these things. I was always wondering, okay, what's next? Being in those environments allow your nervous system to be out of control because you do not have a place of safety. Where you reside at is not safety, but it is your home, and you have to accommodate yourself and maneuver around where you live at just to make you feel just a tad bit comfortable in your space. But your nervous system is never comfortable because it's always worried about the environment that you're in. It's always going to question, what is next? What am I going to do? What if this happens? How am I going to react? So your mind comes up with all of these different type of scenarios for you to be able to protect yourself if these certain things occur. And your nervous system is not calm at all. It is not in a space to where you can fully relax and breathe and tell yourself, I'm okay, I am safe, and I trust myself enough to know that, and I trust myself enough to receive the very things that I am going to receive. 3 target points is slowing down, being embodied, and enjoying the moment. You cannot enjoy the moment in spaces to where you're wondering about what's going to happen next. You cannot be embodied in who you in if you're always having out-of-body experiences and wondering what it is what's going to happen next. You cannot slow down if the environment that you're in is constantly fast and constantly moving, because you want to feel like you're out of place, and your nervous system has to feel as if like it belongs. So it makes yourself move with the environment and move with where you're at so that you can keep up and not be left behind. Because that is what your nervous system is designed for. You have to be able to sometimes remove yourself from certain environments that no longer suit you. If you're in an environment to where you feel like you're trying to grow, you're trying to step into your feminine power, you want to be different, you want to receive new blessings, you want to receive the things that you want to receive, you're going to have to first remove yourself from certain places and certain people. You cannot grow in a place that is not meant to grow. You cannot grow in dry dirt. You have to place yourself in soil. If where you live at and your friends that is around you, if they're not watering you, you have to leave. You have to dismiss yourself. If you're not growing in your environment, you have to pick yourself up and place yourself somewhere where you can grow, where there is a field of roses, a field of daisies, a field of crop, where you can be able to plant yourself in and grow fully in that environment. Placing yourself in a place that may not be the suburbs, but it is the suburbs to your nervous system, because it's not as loud as it used to be. It's not as chaos as it used to be. You can now sit back and you can breathe and you can start working on yourself so that you can be able to fully get aligned and be in a place to where you can fully start to shed those layers and attack those triggers and not be triggered when things pop up. And you learn how to stay in your feminism when things try to trigger you. You learn how to breathe when it's trying to suffocate you. You learn how to talk when it's trying to tell you to shut up. You have to be able to place yourself in these environments and be able to trust your inner safety, trust your trust, learn how to move from receiving and not trying to prove, and learn how to just simply be present in the moment and not be worried about what's next and what's to come. This is an affirmation that I want to leave with you as well. I am present in my body and in my life. We do not want to be in out-of-body experiences. Out-of-body experiences can be you're present, but your mind is not with you. You can be present, but you're not physically aware of who you are because you're too busy aware of your environment. You're not enjoying yourself because you can't, because you feel like it's abnormal, because you're not used to it. You can be happy for a split second, and then you quick to shut the happy off because you feel like I don't deserve to be happy. This is not normal. Your body is unfamiliar with your mind, and you quickly shut it off because you think it's a bad thing. You think something is going to happen because you're happy and you're enjoying the moment, and so you run from it because it's unfamiliar to you. When your body is simply saying, this is nice. But your mind and your nervous system is like, hold on, wait a minute, what's going on? Because you're not used to it. Learn how to be present in your body and in your life. Number 5, feminine energy comes from emotional honesty. Feminism isn't always soft, it's authentic. Sometimes we're going to have to tell someone, bag up, leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. I don't have the capacity right now to even hear anything that you're talking about, love. I just don't have it. Sometimes you're going to have to be in that space. It's not always soft. Sometimes it's a storm. Sometimes it's a little rough, but it's still feminism, feeling without shame, expressing truth calmly, and not suppressing emotions, speaking from a place that speaks on your values and not your triggers. You can allow people to talk all day if they want to. Have people feeling like they you know, got one on you or whatever the case may be, but your feminine energy is always going to speak louder than what that person is feeling. It's always going to speak from a place of power versus a place of falseness. It's always going to speak from a place of honesty. It's always going to be authentic. It's never going to be false. It's never going to have a mask. It's going to always be you. And this is an affirmation that I want you guys to take in. I honor my emotions with grace. Learning how to honor your emotions with grace and be in a place to where you are receiving everything gracefully, being honest with yourself. You know that environment that you live in is not good. You know you don't trust yourself. You know you don't feel safe. You know that you're not being present. You know that you're not receiving. So what can we do to do these things so that we can receive femininely, so that we can be able to walk femininely in our power and be able to receive the things that tries to tell us to shut up, or you don't deserve it, or this ain't for you. What can we do to shut those things up so that we can be able to receive fully in our feminine power? Simple. Heal. Raw Woman Energy has a 6-week, 6-module course on school right now. The first week is free. After the first week, it is $20. You're going to get 6 weeks, 6 modules full of activities, full of my therapy notes, full of journaling activities, full of affirmations. You are going to receive these. You're going to receive this for 6 weeks, 6 modules, and you're going to be able to learn how to heal. Now, in these 6 weeks, you don't just heal and it's done. No, you have to continue to apply these steps, and you have to wake up every morning and choose to heal versus choosing to go backwards. You have to be in a place of ready to receive, because if you're not in a place of ready to receive, if you're not ready to do the hard work, if you're not ready to shed those layers, then feminine energy is not going to work for you. Feminine energy is not going to show up for you. And you're going to still be going around in the same circles because you are not choosing to first heal. Feminine energy does not be learned. It is needed to be recommended. It is needed to be remembered. This is our closing line for this episode. Feminine energy doesn't need to be learned. It needs to be remembered. All you have to do is continue to do the work. All you have to do is continue to show up. All you have to do is continue to trust yourself, to find your safe spot. Like I told you, my safe spot is water. I love to come back to my safe spot. I love to relax. I love to find me, and I love to remember exactly why I'm doing it, who I'm doing it for, and how it makes me feel. This space, this spot allows me to embody the moment and know exactly who I am and where I'm coming from, and where I'm going. I'm going to leave this final affirmation with you guys. I embody feminine energy by being myself. I cannot be no one other than myself. I cannot pretend to be anyone other than myself. I might, do a little lingo from someone else here and there, but I cannot put on a facade to where I feel like I am you. I am not doing that. I cannot be in a space to where I feel like I have to be someone other than myself. I'm not doing it. I am going to show up as me. And if you do not like it, then that's a you problem, not a me problem. Find you something else to torture, because it's not going to be me. I love you guys. This is Talisha with the Raw Woman Energy. This is feminine energy comes from this 101. That is this episode. I hope you guys listened. all the way through. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and learn how to not rush, learn how to take your time, learn how to slow down, and also understand that everybody that talks calm love is not in feminine energy. Everyone that has on pretty clothes is not in feminine energy. Everyone that smiles so gracefully is not in feminine energy. Sometimes people are wearing a mask. So you have to understand that feminine energy is not about what you have on. It is about what you carry. So I love you guys. Stay true to yourself. And also know that you don't have to walk around and look crazy either, okay? You don't have to walk around and look crazy either. It's good to put something on your lips, and it's good to get your hair done, and it's good to be in a place of feminine power, but also being in a space of keeping yourself together, love, but just letting you know that don't be fooled by what people have on. Be connected by the journey of a person. Be connected by the person's story. Don't always assume, because assuming makes an A beep out of yourself. So let's not assume. Let's learn how to have discernment. I love you guys. Stay true to yourself. This is Real Woman Energy. Peace, love, and happiness. Bye. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead. Hit the button. Just hit the button. Thank you.